Gonzaga just had one of the best seasons in college basketball history. They could have had a very good argument for having the best season of all time, but unfortunately they couldn't win the last game. I made a whole video covering why they were so good, a mixture of coach, the experience, a young superstar, and a deep experienced bench. All of that now is in the past, and Gonzaga has absolutely reloaded with their new recruiting class. And so today's video we're going to cover Gonzaga's new freshman recruits, who they are as players, and what it looks like for their team next season. I won't keep you waiting because we have to talk about the kid who has been the biggest headline in all of basketball recruiting. After long months of waiting and speculating, ESPN's #1 recruit in the nation, Chet Holmgren, made his commitment to Gonzaga. But what kind of player are they getting? I already made a video about Chet, but it's not super applicable here because I talked about how I think he'll translate to the NBA, and that's obviously not what we're talking about today. But this guy is a flat-out unicorn, and he will be a major problem for every defense he faces in college. When looking for a comparison, it seems like there wouldn't be any, but just a few years ago, we watched Bol be a top recruit and have immense success at Oregon in his games before coming down with an injury. In March Madness, sensation Drew Timme is still unsure if he's going to test the draft waters this year or return for another season, and for Chet's sakes, I really hope he returns. Drew Timme is a great college player, but an outdated center for the NBA, but he's too good and would be the veteran of this team that you have to play him, but Chet is also too great of a player not to play. It would force him to play the perimeter more so than the paint, whereas in high school his time was split. He has everything he needs to be a wing and perimeter player. Despite being 7'1", he has the skills that resemble a small forward. Look at this highlight where he makes the Steph Curry miss in the open court. A 7-footer not only took the ball up with perfect fluidity, did a double chicken wrap that took him towards the rim, threw off the defender, but he continued and dunked it with ease. This play shows his ball handling, his creativity, and his athleticism, which he has great but not elite bounce. So why is Curry guarding him so far out? Well, this is because Chet is a unicorn and can also shoot the ball. I couldn't find his three-point percentage from high school, but I did find that he shot 80% from the field. This is a level of efficiency that is almost unheard of. His shot stroke is pure and he can shoot comfortably off the dribble, in transition, and catch and shoot. This is what excites me most about him because a lot of his highlights from high school were just him being taller than everyone, having soft touch around the rim, or just getting wide open dunks. And this is why I would love to see Timme stay, because if Chet is forced to develop his game outside, even though it would be uncomfortable at first, it would be so much better for his development. So I love his smooth shooting stroke, his soft touch around the rim, his height, and his obviously shot blocking potential. But there are a few things I'm not sold on yet. Even though I don't think it's going to be as noticeable in college, his weight is an issue. I'm 6'2", 185. Chet almost has an entire foot on me and only weighs 10 pounds more. That's an issue because especially I'm not built for college or NBA basketball. He'll have a hard time against centers down low with any move that isn't over the top or fading away. He won't be able to back anyone down because it literally looks like his ankles go all the way up to his hips, and I don't know how quickly this can be turned around. And although we talked about his handles with Curry, they could use a lot of work for someone who's probably not going to be on the low block all the time. It gets the job done in high school, but especially in transition, the ball looks very loose and it looks like it could leave his hand at any second. After covering a lot of high school prospects of this class, Chet is not my #1 recruit, but that does not mean that Gonzaga doesn't have a great player on their hands. He is a unicorn, and if Timme leaves, they will have a lot more flexibility with their offense and finally be able to run 5 out. Moving on to the next player, we have the 14th prospect in the nation. After losing Jalen Suggs to the draft, this does hurt Gonzaga's team, but they're hoping to find the replacement in point guard Hunter Salas. And to me, he ironically reminds me a lot of Jalen Suggs. They're both the same height, super bouncy, ultra aggressive getting to the rim. They both find creative ways to make it to the rim and finish with both hands. But what I love most about Hunter is his motor. He's very scrappy on defense, getting several steals, diving for loose balls, getting offensive rebounds. He will be a great replacement for Jalen Suggs because they do have a very similar game. Even though I'm unsure of how the roster will look and what the players are leaving for the NBA, which players are staying, they for sure lost senior guard Aaron Cook to the transfer portal, which is a huge blow for them. Whether he'll start or not isn't a guarantee like it is for Chet, but Mark Few is a very smart coach, and I have no doubts that he'll figure it out. And the last person we're going to look at very quickly is 6'9" power forward Caden Perry, who is just a very large man and super bouncy. It seems like he might have a mid-range game just from seeing him in warm-ups, and I say in warm-ups because he makes his living being big and athletic around the rim. Although I think he'll come off the bench because of spacing issues with Timme in the game, he will most definitely find a spot on this team, and every team could just use a 6'9", muscular, athletic bully and rim protector. So the question we have to ask is, will Gonzaga have the the year they did last year. And no, not quite. Losing Jalen Suggs and Corey Kispert will be huge for them. We all know relying on freshmen can only get you so far, but Chet will be a beast for them and hopefully develop more to a KD-like player than a Bull. And Hunter Sallis will be the replacement for Jalen Suggs because he's about 85% of what I think Jalen Suggs was last year, which is saying a lot because he is a future top 5 pick. But let me know what you guys think though. Gonzaga has a lot going for them. It was huge that they got Chet. And even though he's not my #1 recruit, that doesn't mean he still isn't an amazing player. I would pick a few other people than him, but I think he can do a lot with his game. If they can put him on a good diet and get him 10, 20, 30, 80 pounds on him, he could be a beast. I think he's going to develop a lot of the things that he didn't have to develop in high school just because he was so much taller than everyone. But I love Hunter Sallis. I love Caden Perry. I think this is going to be a great roster. And depending on who comes back, we still don't know who's going to test the draft waters or who will get drafted at all because you are allowed to come back to college now. But I'm very excited for Gonzaga's team next year. The basketball season cannot come soon enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you like this video. Make sure to comment down below what you think Gonzaga is going to be next year, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!